Welcome to Big Tony's Funhouse. Strap in and enjoy this finale of The Sopranos Season 2, because we sure as hell did not enjoy it. Well, it was alright, but you know what? I feel like things could have been done better, execute it better, and in general, I don't feel like a big fat bastard getting revealed as a rat should be done in a dream with talking fish heads. But we'll get to that a wee bit later on in the review. But what did you think of the finale? Did it live up to expectations, or did it go out with a Peter after Richie's death?
I felt like it was one of the better episodes of season 2, but that ain't exactly saying much because I think season 2 has been. I'm not going to say it's been awful. It has just been the most average season
It never got going.
of a television show I can ever remember seeing. Like, I think every episode I've watched, I've either gave it like a 6 or a 5, maybe apart from like 1 or perhaps 2 episodes. It was like everything has just been bland, bang average. Bang average.
It never got going.
I felt like this episode was a bit better than bang average, so there's that. However, there was like literally no follow-up with Richie April's death. He was like given the odd mention by Tony, and we've seen a garbage truck that might have had parts of his body in it, I guess, leaving the Indian shop or the whatever shop it is, in Italian pizza kebab. Aye, whatever.
Pizza kebab.
Aye, well, I don't know what it is, but the point
I think that
is,
was just to show you that the garbage business is back on track rather than he's actually in that. But you could take what you want because the fanboys will try and defend this to the moon. So you take that where you want to go. But the problem with this season is, right, each time it got started, it was one step forward, 2 steps back, like the GTA San Andreas song.
Yeah, I agree with that, but a big issue for me is it's like they teased little by little. The build-up was so slow, but we realised that Tony and Richie were going to clash at some point, and they spent the entire season building up to it, and it just never happened.
Yeah.
Richie gets wiped out by Tony's sister, and then Tony's like, it's a good thing for Tony. It's like, well, that's pressure off my back, and it's like, I mean, really, it's like you think of another show. Could you just imagine another show where they're teasing a feud between someone for the entire season, then in the penultimate episode, like somebody else takes them out? It's like,
but it's a consistent theme of this season. You kick off, Junior's in jail. You think, oh, there's going to be a big aftermath. He gets out. Him and Tony make peace. All right, fair enough. Richie gets introduced. Next episode, Italy. Right, Christopher gets shot. After that, they find Matt within like a change of scene, and then next episode, Chris is up and about loving life.
I hate to do this, right, but I always compare all the shows to Sopranos because how else are you supposed to compare
TV show.
But let's take The Walking Dead season 2 for example, since we're in season 2 here. Now, a lot more shit happened between Shane and Rick than it did Richie and Tony. Yes. Imagine, and Shane also says goodbye in the penultimate episode, so I think there's a lot of similarities here, right? And there's a lot of tension, blah blah blah. But imagine we get to the penultimate episode, and instead of Shane going out at the hands of Rick and them having that like last final showdown, Shane's just like walking about the woods and gets taken out by like a random passerby who's trying to loot his goods or something like that. That's what this is like, or Shane's just taking a piss out in the woods and a zombie bites him.
But no, the problem is the fanboys will say, "Oh, but it's supposed to be realistic, real life." But that's boring. We want some larger than life, but in the realms of reality.
So some woman that is in love with a guy and she thinks it's the best relationship ever, and she's so happy, gets one punch to the face and goes and shoots her husband dead twice. That's realistic.
Well, that's what the fanboys will say.
No, I mean, I think if like Richie had a history of maybe continually beating her up and stuff, that would have made more sense.
And she had enough.
But this was like, everything was great until she cooked this dinner that Richie wasn't really interested in. Then she made the gay comment, Richie with a punch, and then she goes and gets a gun and shoots him. Like, out of the blue. Feels so fucking forced looking back on it.
I know. I think it was forced. I feel like it was like, here, how do we diffuse this without like Richie and Tony coming to blows? Because we don't have the budget for it. That's literally the sort of vibe you get. But anyway, we have to dive into Funhouse and let's break it.
See, when you actually think about this show, though, there's very little action. There's very little scene. It's literally a lot of fucking Tony just looking depressed.
Yeah. So you're on a show that was basically someone else's depression. How can you like properly get invested into it when it's just depression.
I don't want to say depression.
I don't mind it for an arc, but the fucking 6 seasons, come on, guys, give something a wee bit different here. But anyway.
No, but it's supposed to be a show on a mob, but where's all the cool mob shit?
I don't know, fucking sitting in a house coat greeting.
Like the Godfather and all that shit. Do you not get shouts in that? Guy comes in with like a fucking mini torrent or whatever.
That's
Scarface, whatever.
Scarface.
Point is, I mean, you had stuff happening in those films. Nothing seems to happen in The Sopranos, and when they do give you something, it's like the phoniest, fucking fakest shootout ever.
I know. Oh.
And what's it? Every time they shoot somebody, man, it's like they have to unload almost an entire clip while they're like shaking their hands, shooting like a gangster, man. Like, what the hell is this?
Is it like a gangster or is it like a FUD? I think it's more like a FUD.
I know, but it's like, yeah, what is that?
It's not a kickback. I don't know. Like with Christopher, they're trying to do like he's angry, so he's trying to like let out some strength when he's shooting. What's this guy's name?
I can't remember his name, but it's
Mikey.
I just feel
Mikey
like,
Palmer.
I feel like The Sopranos. It's like it was out in the like mid '90s, late '90s.
Well, this is
honestly,
90s.
I think The Sopranos feels like it's from a lot further back than that.
Well, when it ends, it's about 2007, so we'll find out.
But there's no excuse for this. Compare movies that were out in the 90s, legendary movies. Like, how can... It just seems very fake and phony. I mean, the Terminator 2 came out in 94, for God's sake.
92, mate.
Oh, whatever, 92, 94.
Well, if you're going to make a wee comparison, get the facts right. 92.
No, but this just seems like a cheap... Something you'd expect in the 70s. I don't know.
Well, let's go to the 2000s, big man, because we've got Tony. We kick off the episode. Him and his younger sister, Barbara Janice, is left. So Barbara's here to sort out Livia's living arrangements, but when she starts making comments, Tony loses the plot. He's like, come here, I want you to come live with us. And
then Arnold.
Well, you mentioned Terminator 2. So he goes and grabs 2 of the dodgy airline tickets and tells her to fuck off to Tucson, which I thought was funny, but... Again, just showing that his anger here. See, at the end of the day, right? He's had nothing to do with this entire season. Basically, why now? Because Janice has left. Does he have something to deal with? Can his younger sister no deal with it?
Yeah,
kind of just like forcing like another story arc in here, about her getting arrested later on this episode. Then we're at Artie Bucco's restaurant, and this is after eating at an Indian restaurant. We've got Big Sal explaining to Furio about this calling card scheme. And did you not, the credit card scheme thing, did you not feel like when Big Sal was breaking this down though, it was like blatantly obvious that he was just dragging it out as if he was on the wire?
Yeah.
No, I don't actually think he was. I feel like he's almost got accustomed to being on a wire. He just sounded like it. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I took that wrong for that. But Tony looked at him here for the first time in ages and thought, is this guy ratting? But again, it's like, when was the last time Tony had suspicions about this guy? I would say it was probably about the time when he made the promotions and he didn't call this guy up. And that's about 8 episodes ago.
Yeah, you kind of felt like, I just don't get it. Because you feel like Tony's suspicions on Big Sal, you feel like that's been squashed.
Yeah.
But yeah, for some reason, Tony gets sick in this episode, he gets food poisoning, and that somehow makes him suspect that Sal's ratting again.
Yeah, well, we're going to get into this right now, actually. Well, no, just before we get into it, he buys Carmela a dress, right? And she's had this, like, problem with Tony for the last bunch of episodes due to him and his, like, Gumar. And here you think this woman could have, like, morals and, like, actually, no, fuck your dress, Tony, you can't buy me. And then she just fucking sells out. So I think any sort of respect you could have for Carmela's out the window with this scene. So what, he bought you a dress? I think so.
Yeah, it's not...
I don't know, I feel like I was weak for Carmela Soprano, but talking of weak, why the fuck's our mob boss needing help into the toilet for diarrhea and sickness after 2 people?
Yeah, I mean...
I've had it, you've had it, I don't need 2 fucking people to carry me to the shitter. So why's Tony need it?
Yeah, when you're going to shit your pants, you can quickly carry yourself in. That's what I'm going to say.
I don't get this.
No, but Tony, he's a big fucking... He's like a man-child, man. This guy ain't a mob boss.
He's a big mob.
Like, this show's got like a comedy element, and there's some things that you just can't help laughing at. But I don't see it. I genuinely don't see how anyone says this is the greatest show of all time.
Ben, I mean, man, I don't know. I don't know. There's a lot of people that think it is. Know what I think? Know why I genuinely think people think this? I feel like Italian Americans are going to think it is. And I feel like around this time period, there was nothing to rival it. Nothing.
I feel more like
the peak of its ratings was in season 4, which is 2001. And then season 5 comes out in 2004, and season 6 is 2006 and 7. And the ratings go down, not by an insane amount, but they go down. And I just feel like by that time, people care about other stuff.
And because I think by the time we started getting past the mid-2000s, that's when a lot of good shows started to come on.
You've got Lost, Prison Break, Sons of Anarchy, Breaking Bad, all that stuff, Wong in there.
Dexter.
Yep, big Dexter. I'll be on the channel soon probably, but I don't know, I feel like with this show, it's like one big fucking joke. It feels like a joke half the time. And let's get into his dreams. So,
plus, by the way, I think Italians are pretty loyal, so I think... Well, they are. I think with the culture, though, I think like Italian Americans would religiously watch this show, even if it is pish.
They can relate to it.
I think they'd have a connection, so they'd watch it.
Like, because there's a lot of times they're sitting eating, or they'll make off, like, they'll make remarks that we don't understand.
Yeah, it's kind of like when people say, well, you know, we need a black superhero so black people can feel like a connection, feel represented. I feel like a lot of like Italian Americans would watch this.
Aye.
Simply because it's the Sopranos and that's what it's about. That's like the whole premise of the show. They might not think it's good, but it's like, I'm watching this because it's about people like me.
Yeah. So, disaster class here, but any one of his dreams...
I just point out, I don't feel the way about Scott. I mean, just because something's Scottish doesn't mean I'm going to watch it. Exactly. If it's shite, it's not getting watched.
That's it. But he has a dream. So we see Polly, Silvio, Christopher, Hesh, and Big Sal. But Big Sal's not engaged in conversation. He's just staring out over the pier. And we're introduced to Philly Parisi, who... This is the twin brother of the guy that got killed in the premiere of this season. But then when Tony says to him, it turns into his twin who's actually shot. Which again, is this not a weird way to introduce a guy?
Yeah.
Like, there's been no mention of this guy having a twin until the season 2 finale.
Just randomly.
Just for, is this going to be a beef going into season 3? No, I'll probably fucking squash within 2 seconds.
Squashed like orange juice.
Christopher asks Tony, goes, what if these doctors are wrong? Because of course in this dream they're referring that Tony's 6 months to live. But do you feel like this is more a case of what if these dreams are wrong about Big Sal? Or do you, I think it's an innuendo about that. He's like, Chris asking, what if these dreams are wrong? Because obviously Tony doesn't have anything wrong with him, he's just a fat, depressing bastard. That's all he's got. He then has another dream about Polly and him playing cards, and then he just shoots Polly.
I mean, you say that, like, but none of these dreams have... At this point, the dreams haven't gave away anything about him suspecting Big Sal.
Big Sal was staring off in the distance, not engaged in conversation. And also... You had that thing at the start of the episode where he's explaining the whole credit card scheme. So I don't know. I feel like at this point it was your Uncle Junior walking about a factory site. Just weird. The call over the doctor, Bruce Casamano. At this point, Tony then gets up and runs, and you just start hearing him fart and shit. And the doctor guy's like, "It'll be all right after a wee bit." He then goes to Dr. Melfi's, and he's going on a racist rant about Indian people.
By the way, how defensive did Artie get when?
Artie was good this episode.
His food was getting possibly blamed.
He's right though, everything he said is true, and Tony's sitting there trying to bury him.
And I'm not trying to blame Artie. I mean, he's always wanting Artie's food, then all of a sudden Tony gets sick and Artie's like the worst chef ever.
Exactly. Tony then has one final fever dream, and it is in the form of a bunch of big fish that are dead, and one of them talks.
Well, like, I'm not denying, this scene's really funny, right? You can't deny that. But see when you actually break it down, and let's say someone's now watched The Sopranos, right, and you explain what it's about, and they go, oh, what happens to that big guy? And you're like, Tony kills him when he finds out he's a rat. Says, oh, how does he find out? What happens? And you're like, well, Tony has a dream and there's a bunch of fish talking and they're dead, but one of the fish is talking and is Big Sal, and it reveals that he's a rat. I mean, come on. It was funny, like, but so Tony kills Sal literally because he had a dream where some fish was Sal and admitted he'd been the rat.
I know.
That's what he kills him.
He's like, I'm sleeping with the fishes. That was a funny wee reference, of course, because it's fish. But yeah, you know what? This is just an absolute disaster. And I feel like it was so obvious at this point that Tony was going to kill him. Why did they not have it that Tony took Silvio and Polly and Sal to the boat, and Silvio and Polly didn't know until Tony revealed it on the boat? Would that not have been better? And you could see their first reaction of it, rather than like all three of them knowing they're just going to kill him. That's the way I would have done it. You could have seen that. I feel like, because this whole scene, like, it's just dragged out, and obviously, right, it's the final moments of a big-sized character, right?
Well, he is pretty big.
He is pretty big. But see, at the end of the day, it was so obvious. Like, he finds the wire in his cigar box. They then get onto the boat, and you just know it's coming. But I just feel like it would be better if Tony confronts him. Then you've got like 5 minutes of Silvio and Paulie like, well, what the fuck? What do you mean he's a rat? How do you know this? And he's like, oh, it was tough. Oh no, that's the thing, right? See when Silvio goes, well, why are we going to his house to check out if he's a rat? And Tony's like, well, I had this dream, and a fish was talking to me. What? I think Silvio would have probably thought Tony was a rat. There's a fish talking to him? Oh, come on, man.
And they're taking orders for this guy. This guy's the leader. A guy that has dreams about dead talking fishes that reveal rats. Come on, what the fuck's happening here?
Literally, man. And then at this point, they basically tell Big Sal to sit down. And he sits down, he pours a wee bit of tequila, and they're like, how long have you flipped? He's like, come on, what do you mean? He's like, tell us how long you've flipped, you bastard. And he says he's not giving anything major to the feds. Tony doesn't believe him, but see, to be fair to him, he hasn't really given anything major.
Let's say he hasn't given anything major, right? Does that keep him alive?
No, but no, it's weird though. Tony doesn't even ask him about the Bella, no, the kid they killed, the Matt. Surely that would be like first protocol here. Like, it was the most recent thing. It's a murder. He was with you. Surely he should fucking ask about that. I think that's a wee bit poor for Tony. Silvio excuses himself, claiming to be seasick. Do you think he's sad here about his big fat pal?
Yeah, Silvio seems to care more. Paulie, in my opinion, does not. I don't really like Paulie. Fucking weirdo. Goes to Italy, talks a lot of shit, then just kills one of his members here like it was nothing. Stole his watch.
Yeah.
So
literally, and then Big Sal, they all like day one last cheers and tequila, and he's like, then Big Sal's bragging about this girl he knew at the clinic in Puerto Rico, and they all laugh, and then Tony's like, hey puss, was she even real? And I don't, was she real? Because Big Sal's reaction here is like, you got me. It was literally like, you got me. And I think this was actually a nice last scene. It's like,
you're full of shit.
Yeah, it's like, you're full of shit, and we finally caught you out. And it's like, everything you've been saying for like this entire show has been fucking horse shit.
That kind of makes me feel a bit sad for Big Sal. Like,
yeah.
His whole fucking life's a lie.
Yep. And then he goes to sit down. He's like, hey guys, can I take a seat? And then they just fucking, all three of them shoot him at once. And yeah, they honour his wish. They didn't shoot him in the face. Paulie then like hoovers all his jewellery off him. And then they just wrap him in a bin bag and fuck him in the water.
Yeah, no funeral or anything like that.
But how would they get his body back? You know what I mean? I understand. And also, they'll probably just go for, I don't know, he disappeared like he did the last time. And also, how would they, you're saying no funeral, but how would they explain that?
No, I get that. Like, I just thought maybe they felt like they owed him a funeral.
Maybe. Right, now, this is where the episode, I think, just nothing really happens at this point. Livia gets arrested. We do not care. What do you mean? You stole early tickets? Carmelo receives the phone call, and then because of this, the FBI agents arrive at Tony's house. Bagger. And Tony is under arrest for these airline tickets. Just as this happens, like, Meadow walks through the door with, like, her friends, and Tony's like, oh, it's alright, I'll be back in a few hours. And then, like, Meadow breaks down, and Carmelo's just standing there, clinically depressed. What was this all about?
A life in the day of the Sopranos.
I know it's not ideal, like, but it's like Meadow's like reacting here as if like he's fucking murdered about 20 people. We've seen him get arrested plenty of times on bullshit charges, damn it. And then we have the following day at Meadow's graduation ceremony, and then Chris appears out of nowhere. Tony tells him that he is gonna get his button and he's finally gonna become a made man. But like, do you know how ever since Chris got shot, he's done nothing? He's absolutely done nothing since he got shot.
Yeah.
He's like, no spleen, Gene. Absolutely garbage, man. And then we're back at the house. We basically see like a montage of all his illegal enterprises, how he makes his money. Carmelo looks at Tony. Tony then lights up his cigar, one big puff. The shot then fades into the ocean at sunset with the waves crashing on the beach, obviously to like show you like that's where Big Sal was buried. And that is how we end season 2. And looking at this, right? Give me a reason to check out season 3.
I don't know. Like, there was no cliffhanger going into season 3. I don't feel like...
Who's going to want revenge for Richie? Who's going to be like, what happened to Big Sal?
I mean, even season 1 didn't really leave in a cliffhanger. They kind of wrapped it up. Eliminating...
I know, but at least Junior was arrested, and it's like, what's going to happen there?
No, but he took out all Junior's crew, and he took out the rat.
Yeah, here he's took out Richie, who was kind of part of Junior's crew, and then he's took out the rat again. It's just there's not an awful lot to say. I'm going to give it a 7. I just did nothing. It's just a bland. I mean, some good stuff in it.
I'll go with a 7 as well. I mean, it was one of the, like I said, probably definitely top 3 episodes this season. But it still wasn't great.
Yep, guys, and hopefully season 3 will be better, set in the year. Well, that episode's come out in 2001, I believe, so maybe I was wrong about that earlier. Season 4 came out in 2002. But anyway, guys, that doesn't matter. 7 out of 10. Episode 3, episode 1, it is called Mr. Ruggio's Neighbourhood, I believe. So, until then, there will be a bit of a break where we rank all deaths, all episodes, and all characters. That shall be fun. What death do you think will be top of all deaths?
God, maybe the Sal one.
I think it'll probably be the Sal one. I can't really. I thought Richie's was poor, and I can't really think of anyone else. I mean, the Balalinqua kid kind of just shot him, and then the guy Christopher shoots in the shootout. It's not exactly spectacular. So we'll do that, guys. We'll rank all that. But until next time, 7 out of 10. Was Funhouse fun? I wouldn't call it fun.